Bonjour à tous, je m'appelle Evelina. Je suis très content que je suis ici, mais mon français est très terrible maintenant comme je vous présente en anglais. Hello, welcome to my session. My name is Evelina, as I said. I'm really glad that I'm here with you because some time ago I was living in Paris, so I'm here to present you my topic, what connects electronic stethoscope with a baby monitor. I would like to say that this presentation is some overview of my production issue that I needed to overcome during my work, and I hope that somebody will learn something from my experience. And first question to you guys, what do you think? What connect electronic stethoscope with a baby monitor? Everyone have some idea? Just take... Yeah. Okay, but maybe it's strange, but this is not that I have precisely in my mind. I will answer you in the end of the presentation. So a few words about me. I'm Android developer. I've been developing Android apps for 7 years, and last 3 years I was responsible for medical application which was working with external peripheral device, the stethoscope, as you probably may guess. And I'm really passionate about building apps that do something good in the world that help people. So naturally, I'm a big fan of UX and accessibility, and also I feel and see that to create great product and create an amazing solution, we need well-rested mind. So that's why I called myself as a mental health advocate. And agenda for today's presentation, I will just give you some small overview about healthcare apps. We will jump to the basics of the Bluetooth Low Energy, but it will be simple overview just to give you better understanding of the issues. Then we will try find out what can go wrong and what we could do to investigate the problems. We will try to find the best solution, and I will tell you what I've learned. So firstly, healthcare apps. What do you think? Why this industry is becoming more and more popular? Because I observed that there is more application that try to monitor our health. What do you think?
People are getting older.
Yeah, maybe. Any other ideas?
The cost.
Sorry?
The cost of equipment. If you use
Phone that you have in your... Yeah. But I think that the more important needs behind this that people want to live longer and in a good health, so they just try to use what they have. And when we're talking about healthcare apps, we have a few different types of them on the market. The first one would be some apps that uses external sensors for health monitoring. Healthcare apps really often uses some smartwatches because we have it on our hand every day. We also may use built-in sensor of some cameras to monitor our health, and healthcare mental journals and any other journals that assist our medical treatment are also considering as healthcare apps, and also the apps that help us to set up, schedule some consultation with the doctor in any specialist is a medical app. Today, of course, we will focus on the first area because this is the topic about Bluetooth Low Energy. But, okay, so let's imagine the app flow when you have some external device. So probably what user, what business would like to see. We would like to run the app, performing some auto connection in the background. It will be the best case without any problems. Then we are fetching some data, probably from some thermometer that we would like to check our temperature, and then user receive the results. So it looks like 4 simple steps. It shouldn't take so much time. Everything should go really, really easy. But we know that's not this way, and I will try to show what is behind these 4 simple steps. But first, Bluetooth Low Energy. Bluetooth Low Energy is considered to be the best candidate in this type of application. And why? because it was created to increase the battery life in our external peripheral devices, and it was designed to sending small amount of the data between devices. And what is more, it should simplify the interaction between the devices, because we don't require the normal pairing process, how it looks like in the normal Bluetooth. And what's is also important, it uses the same frequency as normal Bluetooth. It's a 2.4 frequency. Okay, so let's jump into overview. It will be really simple overview, but it will be, I think, a little bit complicated. I hope you remember the simple 4 steps. So take a look how it will be look when we like to integrate it with our Android application. So we start our app. This is the same. Then we need to ask for the permission. And here we have the first problem. Why? Because Bluetooth Low Energy permission changed since Android 12. And here, when we were developing some SDK for supporting our Bluetooth Low Energy device, and this permission has changed, there were a huge problem because many developers tried to bump the target without updating SDK, and it crashed the apps. And it was the first small issue to overcome. So, as I said, the permission system has changed. Before Android 12, we were using the location, which was shown, access file location, which was shown as location, to being allowed to connect to the external device. Since Android 12, we have Bluetooth Low Energy permissions, and when we like to scan the device, we need to require Bluetooth scan permission. When we like to connect, this is the Bluetooth connect permission. Both are shown as NERBY devices, but you know, it's only a few things that I highlighted here. It's more complicated. Follow the documentation because we don't have time for this today. So hopefully user said, okay, you have my permission. But if not, we need to explain why we are needed this permission. And to be honest, it's quite difficult to explain user why they need something that when they just like to check their health. Imagine that we have this permission. Here we need to check if the device supports Bluetooth Low Energy. So we are checking if Bluetooth adapter is not null on the device, and if the device supports the Bluetooth Low Energy, the Bluetooth, then we are ready to check if this Bluetooth is enabled. If not, again, we need to explain everything to user. Hopefully, Bluetooth is on. We have all required permissions, so we are ready to scanning for NERBY devices. And here we have a few things again, because for some reason this device couldn't be found. We need to explain this to our user, why it wasn't found. When we thinking about scanning, we need to consider the time, because we shouldn't give too much time for scanning, because it will drain the battery. However, when we have too low scanning time, our external device in the noisy environment couldn't be found. Hopefully, we find our desired devices. Then we would like to connect to this device. And this, when we saying that we are connecting to the device, we are connecting to the GATT server. And what's the GATT server? A few simple words. It's a really huge topic, so you have the documentation. But this GATT is acronym of Generic Attribute Profile, and this is the protocol which defines how Bluetooth Low Energy devices are communicating with each other, and they transferring data using concept like characteristic and services. And this is from the Bluetooth Low Energy Bluetooth area. So follow the documentation. Hopefully, we connected to the GATT server, and we are ready to transfer data with the external devices. To transfer this data, we're using 2 terms: GATT request to connect, to push the data from our phone to the peripheral device, and the GATT callback to listen for our data. And here is small highlight. One connection at the time is available. What does it mean? that the peripheral devices has two modes. It's the connected mode and an advertising discovery mode. When the device is connected, is in the connection mode, it couldn't advertise itself, so it couldn't be found for other devices. So imagine the case that user have the stethoscope, the phone is connected with this stethoscope and perform examination, but we didn't drop the connection because she user could want to repeat this examination in 1 minute, but it decide, okay, I will choose another phone. So the stethoscope won't be found, and here we have this situation, handle doesn't find device. So we need to handle inform user and explain everything, which is not so easy. Okay, hopefully we have everything connected. We like to record the sound because the background is the stethoscope. We have the stethoscope, the phone, establish Bluetooth connection between these two devices, and the stethoscope touches the body. So, you know, like the doctor, which would like to auscultate us, and the data from the stethoscope to the phone are flowing. When the phone receives this data, it's started decoding process, saving process, and probably it would be sent to some AI because, as we know, holding the AI model on our device is not so safe. So we tend to send this data to our AI, which is hosted in some cloud. Okay, so what can go wrong here? What do you think? Everything is so simple. Yeah. What else? Yeah. Connection lost, yes, but we have more tricky issue because when the connection is lost, we can just reconnect and transfer the data again. And it's quite simple because we have connection, lost connection, 1, 0. We know what to do. Our reported issue was that when users started recording this, the sound from the lungs, was that the progress was being reset over and over again. And the user wasn't able to perform 1-point recording. And when we like to auscultate our lungs and we are talking about monitoring our health, we need to record 1, 2 points at the front and 6 or more points at the back. And for some reason, some users couldn't do that. When I checked what's happening in the background, I've observed that when the data came to the phone, there was some discontinuity detected in this data. And when the app detects that this data are not continuous, they just drop this whole recording. And you can observe how it looks on this video. Unfortunately, it's in Polish, but it doesn't matter what is written because we are focusing on the recording. The recording is performing and the progress is being reset. And this was the tricky issue because normally everything works fine. It was quite annoying because it was happen in unexpected way. Sometimes user could record 1 point, sometimes not. Okay, so as we see, this is what happened, but the question is that there was some interruption. And what do you think? Does this interruption are good or bad in general? Sorry?
It's annoying.
Bad. For some reason are bad, because it annoyed our users and he would like to perform, check if it's health, if it's some abnormal sound in our lung. But for our system perspective, it's not so bad, because as I said, this is the medical device, and we would like to be sure that our recording is continuous, that we didn't lose any bit of the data. So when something happened like this, we should drop this connection, drop this data, and just not drop connection, but dropping this data and encourage user to try again. So from the normal flow, everything seems to work fine. So the question is, why does it happen so often? Because, you know, it could happen in some ways that, I don't know, there will be some mess or some interruption will happen. And why does it happen so often? So first, probably it could be the low quality connection. The second thing could be that this is the problem of peripheral device. Hopefully the company I was working on designed this device, so we were able to just check, test it, and everything works fine. Of course, the device was replaced, and again it happened. But then I jumped to checking low quality connection. And I tried to reproduce this discontinuity error, and to be honest, it was quite creative times. I tried to go outside the connection range just to, you know, drop it, but it was like 0, 1. When I go outside, they drop the connection. I tried to surround this device with any Bluetooth devices, but it doesn't happen. Then I run microwave, then I try to put stethoscope into microwave. I've even tried to put them into aluminum oil, but as you can see, everything works fine. It is the Pixel, and only what I can say, everything works fine, and I don't know what's going on. I should say, okay, it works for me, but not this time. During this journey trying to reproduce this error, I discovered a few things, maybe obvious for some people, maybe not. To be honest, we are surrounded by invisible data which are flowing around us. And we are not even realize how many devices using the same frequency are in our environment. So what do you think? How many 2.4 devices? Devices that are running on 2.4 frequency are around us. What do you think? How many types? It could be Wi-Fi, because run on 2 different frequencies. Microwaves, because as I said, I try to, you know, boil the water during recording. The smartwatches, because using Bluetooth Low and Bluetooth, the Zigbee, which support our IoT. Phones, mouses, microphones, headphones, also some webcams. So maybe here you suspect what was behind my title. But as I said, I wasn't able to reproduce this error, so then I said, what was the device that these users had that was the reported issue? And it was the Xiaomi device. I don't want to blame them, but because it will be okay. We just bought them because it was the simplest way that we could do. I always try to find the solution, find the reasons behind the code, not only behind the devices. But what do you think? When this device arrived to my home, I was okay. I unwrapped it, and would I be able to reproduce this bug or not? What do you think? Yes or not? No. Yeah, of course not, because this is our life. Then I asked my colleague, because said, okay, I don't know, I'm using this, I'm trying to do this, everything works fine, maybe try you. And my colleague tried to reproduce it at home, and everything works fine. But then we met in our office, and oh, something is happening, because the connection was dropping. Sometimes was dropping, but sometimes not. So then I tried to investigate what's the problem with this device, because it was my only point that I could start my investigation. And I searched internet a lot, and then I found this post. And to be honest, I don't know who this guy is, but really I'm glad that I found this post. And he said that has problem with his Xiaomi device. And when Bluetooth is active and it is connected to the earphones, and at the same time he tried to connect to Wi-Fi 2.4. And this combination seems like to be problematic, because when he is connected to 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, his Bluetooth works fine. But when he's using only 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, his Bluetooth is not working. And okay, so maybe problem solved, we may go to home. I will say, just buy another device, and that's not my problem. But you know, it's not, we couldn't say that in many times, so I tried to investigate how it's on the production. So this is how I discovered. This is the percent of usage of issue that happened according to the network time. So this discontinuity issue happened on for nearly 65% people, which was running on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi during recording, because you know. But it's not, it's more like 50-50, 60-30, but when I look at the devices model and try to count how many times this issue happened during one examination process, examinations like we try to auscultate all points, we see that many times it happened on the 2.4 network, and it's not only one Xiaomi device, but it happened for many devices. Okay, so what we could do? Okay, just ban this frequency, not possible. How to say for the user that they couldn't use these devices? We need to find some solution. So first my idea was, okay, let's check if user use this 2.4 frequency, and then just switch in the background this Android, it should work. But as we know or not, we have some restriction currently. So since Android 10, we only could prompt user to turn on, turn off the Wi-Fi, but we are not able to just turn off Wi-Fi because we have some problems. And also direct access to Wi-Fi settings is only allowed for the device owner, profile owner. So normal app, which we would like to be the normal app when we are normal app in our app store, it's not allowed to do this. Then maybe just send data after recording. It would, you know, we will need to make some small refactor, maybe bigger one, not so small, but I was thinking how much it will increase our main flow. For me, 1 point recording takes sending the data, because we are recording the point and then we are trying to send the data. In normal case, it's like we're recording 1 point, the second point. During second point recording, we are sending the data in the background, normal case. For me, sending 1 point takes 1 second, and it was like, oh my God, it's so long. Then I look at the logs and the production, and I realized that for normal user, its median time is 6 seconds. And I would like to investigate this 25% users with the biggest sending time. And what I observed. Here you have the payload. These points are not so big, because it's, you know, recording for 20 seconds, sometimes 24. Because the recording time was increased due to noise, due to some noise detection. Here you have the response time. It doesn't look well. And here we see that user were using Wi-Fi. I thought that is due to our mobile data transfer, but it's not. So what I discover, it's that Wi-Fi connection doesn't guarantee that user has good internet and good internet connection. Okay, so what was the solution that we find out the best one? We would like to check if the phone is connected to 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And also, if the problems occurs more than n times during one examination, because it was that the barrier that we find out that this is probably this type of problems. and then just show explanation of encountered problems to the users, because we couldn't be sure what's happening. We couldn't resolve this problem in the background. We couldn't say, okay, you have this network in your access point, just switch them in the background. We could educate these people. Okay, so you may wonder how we could check Wi-Fi frequency in the Android device. So we are just checking if our frequency is the specific range. Easy. And here we have some small steps again, because for checking, we are normally checking, we need to access to the Wi-Fi manager, and from the Wi-Fi manager we have access to the connection info, and then we have the frequency. And to do this, we need the access Wi-Fi state, access which is normal, and also access fine location. However, but we already had this access fine location below Android 12 because we required it to connect to the peripheral devices. However, starting Android 12, Wi-Fi retriever is deprecated and moved to the Connectivity Manager API. And when you follow this deprecated in the code, you would see something like that in the documentation, that we need to access the connectivity manager, and then we can register to the callback, and in the callback we may use the same method just to check the frequency and perform what and then follow with our showing our info. This is how it's said that we should use it for one request and for listening. But when you like to register to this callback, we also need to access network state. And a few tips from me: when you try to run this code, you will have the security exception that you would also require to change network state permission, which is not mentioned in the documentation. Of course. And here we have our solution that we just show during recording. Okay, something is going wrong here, just follow the steps. We will try to educate you what you could do, and I know that it works because people don't understand the Wi-Fi problems, the other problems, but many people see that and just try to contact our support, and they was guided at everything, and the problems was resolved. And maybe it's not the best solution for us as technical people, but it fits expectations and it was working. So just that way. What I've learned during this journey, because I think it's the most important one. The first is that users have terrible Wi-Fi transfer, and saying to people, okay, you have no internet, just connect to the Wi-Fi, it's terrible advice, because many times they have wrong configuration in their access point. Network naming could be problematic, and this is what was happening in our office. There is a practice in the network administration, something this area, that one access point have different networks, and many times we have one network name and one network name with 5 gigahertz. But for some, I don't know why, maybe for simplified reason, some people set a different network with the same name. As the result, we giving the responsibility to choose the network to the device. But in our case, we couldn't assist user to change the network because he wouldn't be able to choose that I would like to run on this network with this particular frequency. So in this case, we may only suggest just use mobile data transfer. And what I discover, we are surrounded by wireless devices, and this is something that was mentioned on yesterday keynote, that we are using many devices and we just do this, and we are not even realize that we are surrounded by this data. Working with device required creativity, and I remember yesterday presentation about just boosting our creativity, and yes, this is what I need to do to discover what is happening, and this is something like, okay, we learn how to use technology, we learn how to be the best developers, learn how the tech, but when we try to introduce our solutions to the different ways, like using peripheral external devices, like using some other innovation which is on the market with Android, we need lots of creativity. And this is another hint that innovation required education, because people already use how to use the mobiles, because mobile first is not something new for us, but they don't understand technology, they don't understand the AI behind this technology. Like we are giving them some tools, we need to assist them how to use these tools in the proper way. So this is also something that could be considered when we like to create this kind of mobile apps to assist people during full process. I also find out that audio is still a challenge, and it's really unexpected, because I know that after mobile first area, there was the new approach that we started to use our technology by voice, but we would like to perform some clean recording for medical purpose. It's quite a challenge to do it in the right way, and this is what I discovered during this journey. And the last word I would like to say to you, that sometimes small numbers matters a lot. And this is what we also discovered yesterday, that we are deploying some features to the production that are not even used. But as developers, we are over and over again resolving new problems. And many times there are problems that we are producing by ourselves. Like we like to have faster computers, but it gives us to the barrier of our cryptography and so on. When we are the mobile developers, we are saying that our apps is downloaded for many users, or this issue affected so many users, so maybe small numbers doesn't matter. I would like to give you I would like to say you a few things behind motivation to discover this issue, and it was quite, it required lots of creativity. But when I was investigating the logs, I observed that one of the users that has the problem tried to perform this recording for more than 1 hour. This user has the cystic fibrosis. I don't know if you are aware of this illness, but this is the terminal illness that people just came to this world with this and have problem with breathing. Normal people just breathe. People with the cystic fibrosis has problem to do something that is normal for all of us. And when I saw that this tool should help this person to feel better, but it works in the opposite way, it was my huge motivation just to solve this issue, because I knew that this will help this one guy. And this is what I'd like to say to you in my last words, that just remember to create technology for people and not push people to be for technology. And what connects a stethoscope with a baby monitor? My answer is 2.4 frequency, because it's problematic. And thank you guys. I hope you enjoy. Just stay in touch with me.